Give them what they really want.
This is the update. Gainz on the shoulders. What do you think?
Oh, you know what? I just got this American flag. There you go. I'll get some White Sox action. I just got this American flag hat. Yeah, I know. It's like, you know what? 4th of July comes early this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, buddy.
Sorry, I had to grab my water real quick. But yeah, you know what? I wore this to the gym, and then before this podcast, I was like, Sam, did I wear that American flag tank top last week for the podcast? And then I look. She goes, I don't know. Why don't you look? And then I look, and I am wearing it. And you know what? I got this hat yesterday. It's like I'm wearing a new outfit for the podcast.
Gainz Nation, Antoine hasn't showered since last week.
You know what? Honestly, I was listening to a podcast earlier. They're like, well, maybe that's why we get sick all the time, because they always said we had to bathe every single day. So, you know, I'm just trying it out, seeing if I won't get sick and see how many people don't want to be around me anymore.
So, buddy, my thoughts for today for Gainz Nation is let's go over your squat video. So if when you're editing this, can you edit your squat video in now?
Yeah, I think so. I should be able to do that.
Sweet. And then
we could just talk through it while we're talking. I'll just have the video playing in the background. So
okay, either that or we can break to it, like when I say now, or now or now or now.
You know what? I also I wonder if I could just pull up the Instagram while we're on this call, so you could keep going, and we can. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I could do that. If I can, I'll share my screen. If not, just don't worry about this part of the episode.
So let's start kind of like dive into it. Because I watched like maybe 10
Give me
times.
the meat and potatoes, baby.
I don't see anything wrong with it. Gainz Nation, why does Antoine have elbow pain? We're gonna cover that and more. So, one question I'd have, buddy, is how long have you been running squats, especially trying to like develop your strength in squats?
Well, let's see. I think I want to say for a while now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'd say maybe 30 weeks, 25 weeks with this, like getting up to this amount of frequency and volume and weight. So just 20-something weeks.
Okay, so yeah, you might have some staleness. That was kind of my impression. So
you said staleness, like bread?
Yeah, exactly, stale bread. Antoine's elbows have they have transformed into stale, crunchy, yucky wheat bread. It doesn't even have fiber anymore. See, it's not even gonna give you good poops.
Not even that cocoa bread?
No, man, that cocoa bread was like on the next level. Gainz Nation, do you know what a proper cocoa bread and patty are? If you do, comment down below. Also, comment on what accent you think that I just did a horrible rendition of. Sorry, Shaver.
You could probably all guess that in the YouTube comments if you want.
Biakan. All right, I'm done. I think it's probably staleness. So a couple things that could be happening because Antoine's been running this so long, and this is applicable to you, Gainz Nation. If you've been running a program or a particular movement pattern and you haven't changed it up for a certain period of time, it's going to be a little different for everyone. But I'd say that, I've definitely experienced staleness. Antoine could have some real or actualized pain or like muscle, tendon, ligament degradation in his elbow, or it could be perceived, Remember, it could be perceived. So it doesn't necessarily have to be any degradation to the tissues. But with staleness, if Antoine were to go to a different variation for a short period of time, shorter than the period of time that he went back, that he's run this program, and then goes back to it. Of course, if he does it for like 8 weeks, for example, and he goes back, he might not be able to hit the 295 by 2 or 300 by 2. He might have to go to 275 by 2, but he might be able to build back up to that quicker without pain and then blow through that.
Let's see if I could share the screen real quick and show the post. And I mean, if it doesn't work, then we'll know for next time. Right. So I'm just gonna share my browser.
Yeah, we got it. Let's go.
Yeah. Does it work? Can you see the whole thing fine?
It is it's a myriad right now, or a mosaic. It is about 9, and then it shows about half of 3 more. So about 9, about 10 and a half, 12 boxes. Yeah, we got it. All right, here we go. All right.
And we could go through it. We could pause and go ahead.
Yeah, I like the setup. Nice and tight, nice and strong, not too wobbly, back and forth. You have good control. So I watched your feet. I watched your
neck, my head.
Then I watched your general lean. This is, if you go back and you watch, like I know some people will comment on certain things, but this is Antoine's squat form.
And guess what? I'm wearing the American flag tank top.
No way. No, you're wearing the purple one, aren't you?
No, that's my belt.
Oh, okay. That's hilarious. I love it.
But yeah, real quickly, I know you were gonna say something, but like Roman's kind of alluding to, and we kind of talk about this before. Like I do multiple sets. Like say this could have been my first, could have been my second or third set, but usually before I run the second or third or fourth set, I will I'll try to record it, and then I will use my fancy little iPhone and slowly drag my finger and go through some slow motion. And before this, I actually had issues, and Roman and I definitely chit-chatted about this before. I think it was last year, where my squat, my hips would raise up first, and then my back would catch up. So last year I was fixing that issue with my squat. It was just a double movement instead of just one fluid single motion. So go ahead, Roman. Sorry.
Fair point. So yeah, Antoine did have a little bit of super squat going on, and this is a beautiful example of you going back, like working on this form hard and coming back much stronger. So perfectly demonstrating the point. It's up to Antoine as the lifter. Antoine does his own programming. So if he
yeah, because Roman doesn't want to do mine anymore.
If he doesn't think that we can always figure something out. If he doesn't think that it's staleness and he wants to work at something else, shoulder stability, which might be causing the issue, for example, that's Antoine's choice. But we want to try to troubleshoot, come up with as many potential ideas that make sense, then narrow them down until he has a solid course of action, right? We're troubleshooting. This is what we're trying to do in our day-to-day lives. This is what we try to do with the podcast, is we try to give you the best health and fitness information and make it practical too for the everyday bro or broette.
The Ohio State University.
Just anyone that wants to lift and lift with for longevity, for strength, for power, for hypertrophy purposes, bodybuilding, that kind of thing. People that want to focus on health and wellness, this podcast is for you. Play it, buddy.
Yeah, and also too, Danny Vegas commented on it. He does want to get on the podcast, so he is an interesting fella, and I still have to get him on. But he's in Florida, southern Florida by Tampa. That's southern.
He moved.
Yeah, he was in Chicago.
No, I thought he was in Illinois.
No, sir.
Gosh, I thought he was in Arizona.
No, I think you might be thinking of someone else.
No way. Dan, he's like pretty jacked.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Danny Vegas
fr-
is pretty jacked. Yeah.
friend of the show.
Uh-huh.
I thought you met him in Arizona.
No, I met him. I grew up with him in Illinois actually, and
Oh, okay.
then we would see each other here and there, and then he moved to Florida, and then he pretty much started his fitness thing where he wanted to influence and train and talk about a bunch of fitness stuff. So
Nice.
yes, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's by the Tampa area. I could be wrong, but yeah,
yeah,
I'll let the yeah.
we'd love to have you on, buddy. Let us know your availability. We'll figure something out.
All right, so yep, so I braced and I'm going down. I wish you could slow things down on Instagram, you know?
I know it. Good depth. You
Yeah,
know it.
so so and it's kind of hard. The camera is on. Oh! What the heck? The camera was on an angle. That's on the it's on the floor,
Okay.
and it's angled up. So one of these days I'll invest. Well, I have a tripod for the phone, but also they make those magnetic like phone things where I would like to get the camera angle almost at like waist level or even chest level so you guys could see a little bit better of the depth, but it's just kind of hard. But yep, that's the depth right there. You would white light me, right?
Yeah. You go a little lower, I think.
And then yep, there's the one, and then I brace again. So yeah, that was it. Yeah, see, like the only issues, what I was trying to do last week or no, 2 weeks ago, I tried doing more of a pause squat. So, I lowered the weight, and I think I mentioned on the last podcast, but lower the weight, and then I just tried just squeezing that bar a little bit tighter on the at the bottom, and then going up. But see, the thing is, um, and then the week after, I went ahead and tightened my hand grip where pretty much my hands were a little bit closer to my shoulders. And my goodness, I mean, it felt really tight, but my goodness, that felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. I've heard other people say a similar thing. Like their goal or they were taught always to grip the living heck out of whatever they're lifting.
Yeah,
And I would say in general that's probably a decent like principle. But you get to a certain point where like this doesn't make any sense. Like you develop tennis elbow like pretty bad. So again, either real degradation of tissue or perceived. So that's a big thing that Squat University talks about. Well, doesn't necessarily talk about it, but will indicate with some of his proposed therapies.
yeah,
But
and also too, I also do a thumbless grip on my squat. So I don't like grab the whole barbell with my whole hand. I put my thumbs out because I just thought that I mean it helps me with getting in a better position. Because most of the time, like it's so tight on my back of my rack where it's like all I'm doing is just like gripping it and then just like holding it towards my body, I guess. Where I'm not really like, I'm not really holding something into place. I mean, maybe if I had my thumb, but I don't know. Just like I said, that position just feels like awkward to me. Um, you know, I can't even barely get in a front squat position. So with the barbell, so it's very hard for me to even get in a front rack position. Um, so yeah,
can you do so that's pretty much low bar, right?
yeah. I mean, I could probably do high bar. I just try to get it pretty much like right here.
Yeah.
Like if I had like if here maybe I'm trying to resemble the squat. Yeah, just like in between like my rear delt that was like popping a little bit and my trap muscle. Um yeah, I
I
try to get as low as possible because the fact that I have that like lower chest angle when I'm going down because the fact that I'm squatting on flat shoes now. I stopped doing the squat on my heeled squat shoes, so I kind of just like didn't really go back to high bar. So I just haven't really been touching that stuff lately. So
would test it and see if how your elbow feels. So next squat day, Or no, there's another option for you, Antoine.
You're trying to get me away from it right now. That's.
And the next time you squat, what you could do is you could put on your squat shoes, you could do high bar, and then see if it simulates the same pain in the elbow.
Yeah, I think we ran that a little bit last year. I think we were messing with that with like performance, not obviously my elbow. That was like strictly performance, not in numbers and weight. Because, like I was joking with Roman, is like, hey, now I hit 300 and I was able to hit 315 for reps. I think I hit 335 for a single. I'm like, okay, maybe I could get 400 without gaining any weight. So I've been pretty much 210 to 213. So I haven't really been gaining or losing weight. It's just that 3 pound range. That just depends how fat I am throughout the week, or if I'm drinking beer instead of not drinking beer, because it's summertime. But I remember doing it, and I think I want to say the only reason, I mean, and maybe like you were saying, maybe get a different variation in, and then like do 8 weeks with the upper, or sorry, high bar. I don't know why I said upper, high bar, and then maybe go back to low bar after the 8 weeks. But the only difference is, for some reason, I don't feel as strong and powerful in the high bar squat.
You won't be. So
I wish I just had Roman's limbs. He always talk about my limbs. It's just I wish I had like the Clarence Kennedy. Like the Clarence Kennedy high bar squat form. Like or like the Mike Israetel. Like if I was able to get like that position and like be very strong in, like that'd be super cool. But I just don't think I can. So like I emulate people like Stan Efferding and Lane Norton. So those are the two guys I emulate my squat form after, because, well, long story short, like, Mark Bell always said, find someone who's like your body type and try to master like their form, because if they've already mastered it and they're like squatting 5, 6, 700 pounds, then they're kind of doing something right to your body, your body, how your body's, made up. So the only reason why I emulate those two guys, and I also been following them for like the longest times ever, is when we went to the Arnold, when I met them, I probably posted pictures. They're about my height. Like I think Lane Norton might be like an inch shorter than me, and then Stan Efferding and I are like the same height. And I think Stan might have been my height, but what I've seen is when you get to his age, not to say he's old, but like you shrink a little bit. You get compressed in a little bit. But so like that's the reason, like I squat the way I do, because like if you look at Lane Norton, like golly, for the natural bodybuilding perspective and powerlifting, like his form is really wonky. Like the only thing I don't really copy Lane Norton on is the sumo deadlift. He sumos pretty much 90% of the time. Stan Efferding, he did both, but he does mostly conventional, if I'm not mistaken. But like for me, like conventional feels better than sumo, and I still don't understand why sumo would feel good for anybody, because like I said, like the high bar squat, I just don't feel as powerful. Yeah, and like sumo, I think I got up to the 400s, like mid 400s, but like conventional, I've hit over 500 like twice. So it's like, okay, well, if it's mid 400s or over 500, what would you rather pick? So,
yep.
Does that all make sense, Roman, what I was talking about?
Yeah, it does.
But so let's get back to it. So we talked about the problem. Roman gave a part of a solution. Why don't you follow that through and and talk about that? Why you would suggest a high bar squat for me with the squat shoes? How about you talk about that? I want to hear what you think about that.
It's still relatively specific to the squat. So if you're not having like pains all over the place, weird hip pain, knee pain, foot pain, back pain, that kind of thing. It's like elbow, so it's pretty localized, right? And now we're trying to test. So in that same rack position, right? Like you've been doing some pretty heavy not Smith squats. Help me out here.
The hammer strength, like angled sled squats.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, and which isn't, what's nice about that is like there's not really like a rack position I guess. So I like you don't have to get into a tight position. That's why I also like that machine. So
Exactly. So the way that that's pressing on the shoulders is going to be fundamentally different than how the bar presses down on the back of the shoulders or your like the the back of the shoulders. That's good enough for the explanation. Don't need to
keep it simple.
Yeah, it's maybe. So one thing that I like about that is it would require Antoine to lower the weight to assess to see, but it may determine, is it a rack positioning type situation, and this may be where the staleness exists, again creating real or perceived pain in the elbow. Is it left or is it right?
It's it's honestly both, but it's mostly in my left. But yeah, I mean it's both. Like I
Okay.
like today for example, I'll give you the most current situation. We're to the point where I was doing bicep curls and like even turning the dumbbell, like you turn your wrist, like that was like kind of interrupting it. And then I was just doing where I didn't move my wrist, and I was just like just getting that good stretch because sometimes like I'll switch it up and I won't move my wrist on bicep curls, and I like the hold and pulls on the bicep instead of like flexing the wrist all the time. But like when I was going down and milking the eccentric, I was feeling it in my elbows.
Yeah, interesting. So that could be another thing
And
is
even with my press, like even my bench press, my overhead press, and then like pulling, like it's just been kind of just screwing with me here and there. Where it's like my bench is also another thing where I want to blow up. But see, the thing is, I just don't feel comfortable because I feel like I'm going to push it too hard and hurt myself.
yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that. So it could be the muscles responsible for pronating. That could be the culprit. So
Yeah, and I was doing some of those wrist exercises that like Dr. Kyle Richmond posted with like a kettlebell where I would, I'd put my elbow down at like a right angle and like hang my wrist and my hand off, and then with the weight like overextending on this side with the kettlebell, I would like go slow, 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 get a good stretch, and then go the opposite way. So I was doing those, and it does help with like the lingering soreness, I guess you would say. But it hasn't been curing the problem.
yeah,
Um, it just it. But I also like on the side, Roman knows this, but I also been shoveling rock the past like 3 days. But also before that, it was still giving me pain. And honestly, the only time I didn't really experience the pain is when I took that 5 day trip to Canada, laid off of everything for a while, and then when I got back, like I didn't feel a damn thing. Like I felt really good. So
interesting. Yeah, I'm like trying to formulate my thoughts. So okay, so all right, no, nothing there. Yeah, it does cause me to believe that's the rack position that's doing it, because it does put so much like weight and strain in that elbow in that position, and like if you think about it, like this might be more helpful. I'm gonna put you down on the ground again, Gainz Nation. When you're shoveling rock, because I unfortunately have a lot of experience with shoveling rock, you're gonna be in a similar like compromised position, I think, with the elbows where it's like how when you're doing it, how that stimulus or that stress is going through the arms, traveling through the elbow. So hard to say, really hard to say.
The only other thing too is so when I was extending the downspouts for our house, like when I was see the thing is with like shoveling rock, it's just that one motion. But for when digging in the ground, I was, putting my foot down, digging, and a lot of the times I was like twisting the handle, like on both sides of my left and my right. And my goodness, my elbows were like destroyed after that.
Yeah.
So like on top of that squat training while I was doing the like a bunch of digging, those 2 weeks, like my elbows were just like caked. Like I'm like, man, someone just blow my elbows off the freaking arms. Like get me out of here. But you know what? It like I said, majority of the time when I'm training, it doesn't fully like kill my training. But like, like when I was doing triceps today, because Thursdays is my accessory day. Like when I was doing triceps today, I didn't feel any pain in the elbow. Just getting good squeeze on I was doing extensions, nothing with overhead, but like squeezing that. And then and for another example, when I'm doing like skull crushers with like the easy curl bar, when I'm getting that deep stretch and then pulling it overhead, that's when I also feel a little bit in my elbow. So.
Huh. Yeah, flex flex shoulder position then. Interesting.
Yeah. So I know, and then like your the last podcast where I posted that side of the clip where we kind of went into like the shoulder mobility stuff too. I'm gonna start doing more of that too. I've been actually not doing so much before training, so I used to do a bunch of that stuff pre-training, and I actually been kind of seeing how it works out. And I don't know if that's part of it. Obviously, like you were saying, it's 20 plus weeks of training the same thing, but or it could be, but I haven't really been doing a lot of pre-warming up stuff because see, the thing is with the summertime, we've been actually taking walks like early morning because we don't really want to take walks like in the afternoon, evening because that's usually when it's the hottest. So we've been actually going for like walks like early morning, and then I'd be going to the gym like during lunchtime instead of like first thing in the morning. So like I like when I go in there and I'm like, dude, I walked like 2 miles. Like, why the hell would I need to warm up my legs? I've had 2 meals. Like, I've had 2 meals and I've walked 2 miles. Like, I'm not gonna spend 5 minutes like warming up my hips, my legs, my ankles, my feet. Like, they should be warmed up. Like, obviously, if it was working out first thing in the morning, 6, 7 a.m., then yes, then I would spend that 5 or 10 minutes doing that because like you'd my bones and my joints, my tendons, my muscles, they would be feeling wonky. But like, what I'm saying? Like, and also too with that training, with the lunch training, um, a lot of the things have been feeling a little bit pretty good. Where I'm not as like you would think I'm a little bit tired doing a mile or 2 miles and then waiting like a couple hours, eating again, and then going to the gym. It's been actually working out pretty well with like energy levels. So, but yeah, like that stuff, that pre-workout stuff, like I haven't really been doing much. It's just like I'm pushing the stroller, I'm walking the dog, like my arms and shoulders are moving, and it's like I'm lifting the kid up and down. It's like I'm pretty sure if I didn't do that stuff, I'd be doing it at the gym. But it's like, it's like at this time I'm like, why spend another 5 or 10 minutes in the gym where I can cut that out and just cut it out, get it out of there, get out of there.
Are you going straight from like your walk to the gym now, or are you like sitting in the car, like driving?
So it'd be like an hour or two after the walk, but I'm most of the time like standing up and moving still, and then I go to the gym. But yes, to your point is no, I don't go straight from the walk. Sometimes I do, so sometimes I will, depending on the schedule of the day.
Yeah.
Like I might come back, might sip like half of but the rest of the half of the coffee I left, and then go to the gym. So like sometimes it's either way.
Do you do like body weight squats before you go to the bar, or do you just go straight to the bar and load up like 135?
I will typically like grab the rack and then do some body weight squats, or I'll do like that and then the bar. Yes.
Okay. And then you just do like the bar, just like 45 pounds, and then you do
Yeah. Bar 135, 185, 225, and then from there it's either 255 or I'll jump to 275, then 295, 305, 315. It just depends on the jumps. Like say if I'm feeling really good at 225 and like I won't even throw the belt on until after 225, so I'll just hit a couple without the belt and then I'll either go to 275 and then if that's feeling really good, I'll go to like 305 or 315. So it just depends on how I'm feeling.
Would you be willing to throw in like an like incline like 3.0 mile 3.0 mile per hour walk for like 5 minutes. See if you can like raise your core body temperature.
Yeah.
Might be worth it.
All right. Well, let's just stop there. I think this is a good one. It's that time. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, follow, comments. Make sure you comment earlier. We had something, and hopefully you guys saw the video. If not, I'll add it in with the edits. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.